Thank you. Thank you for being one of my subscribers and helping me get to my goal of 1,000 subscribers here on my YouTube channel. I'm super excited about it. I've been waiting a long time to do this video. I was going to do a video at 500 subscribers, which again, I was thrilled to have, but things were kind of moving along a little faster than I didn't really have time to do that video at the time. And so I thought, okay, well, 1,000 is a different milestone, a little better milestone, and we'll just do it then. So like I said, I've been waiting a long time to do this video. By the way, if you haven't already got yourself a beverage, I'm drinking pineapple kombucha to celebrate this moment because I couldn't be more thrilled right now. Pause the video, go get yourself a drink, and come back when you're ready. All right, so let me tell you what we're going to talk about in this video. Before I do that, let me just get some housekeeping stuff out of the way. First of all, if you like this video at any point in time, you get some value from it, it would be really awesome if you would hit the like button. You can subscribe if you want, but I really prefer that you hit the like button. Subscribe if you want more videos about, how to be a more conscious creator, how to create the business and lifestyle you want. Talk a lot about manifestation, episodes of Enhancing the Human Experience podcast where I interview people, get their knowledge, and share it with you. It's one of my favorite things to do. Big Ideas, where I review books and movies and essays and even seminars, pull the nuggets out of there so that you can put those into practice, right? So that's the Big Idea series. And then, of course, my car vlog series, which is called On the Move, which is basically sharing the same type of ideas just in a car vlog setting. So all of that is available on my YouTube channel. If you're into that, consider subscribing and turn on the bell if you want to be notified when new videos come out. But again, at the very least, if you get any value from it, give me a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below what the value was. That helps me out and helps the algorithm know that this is a helpful video. So with that out of the way, let's talk about, let me tell you what we're going to talk about in this video, because I want to make sure that I touch on all these points because I want it to be really valuable to you. Not just if you're starting a YouTube channel and you want to get to 1,000 subscribers, but these principles that I'm going to share with you, these 10 lessons, are applicable to really anything in life, right? We can apply these to anything in life. All right, here's what we're going to cover in the video. I'm going to tell you why I started my YouTube channel, right? Some of the early influences that I still look at today for inspiration and ideas and motivation. And it's really this idea of copying success or stealing like an artist. And if you're in the YouTube space, you definitely want to do this as well. You might already be doing this, but we're going to talk about some of my early influences. We're going to look at my first video that I uploaded in 2013, December of 2013, and this is not my cringiest video. Like, I'm okay with this video. My cringiest video, I think, is my second or third video. I want to say the second. We're gonna look at it, and I will share it with you, but just don't judge, all right? Just don't judge me. We'll also look at some other videos that happened along the journey. I also want to share with you. Let me just make a note of this. I want to share with you. I don't want to call it my favorite episode of the podcast, Enhancing the Human Experience, because I love all of my guests and I totally appreciate all of them. They're all sharing valuable knowledge and wisdom that I think is applicable to everyone on their journey through life. But what I would say is that this episode touched me. It was meaningful to me. I feel it is valuable on many levels. It was just a special episode to me. We're going to talk about that. Let me make sure I don't forget that. Okay, there we go. So we're going to talk about that. Then I'm going to share those lessons with you, those 10 lessons with you, and then we're going to wrap it up. So that's kind of the agenda here today. By the way, I mean, super informal. We're just going to have some fun. So before I tell you why, let me just... all right, take a drink of my pineapple kombucha there. So I started my YouTube channel to promote my books at the time, right? Specifically, we'll look at the video here in a moment, the Boundless Joy video. But at that time, I knew the power of YouTube and the power of it as a promotion machine, as an advertising engine, really, to drive traffic to whatever you're selling, right? It doesn't matter what you're selling. You could be selling anything, and starting a YouTube channel, promoting yourself, sharing knowledge and wisdom and experiences with your audience is going to drive traffic to whatever product you're selling. And at the time, in 2013, I had just written my first book, which was Boundless Joy, which is a compilation of 101 ways to remind yourself that joy is your true nature, right? And to remind yourself that you're a spiritual being having a human experience. I don't have that book right now with me, but I'll put a picture on the screen here. And I promoted that book in that first video. And so when I started, I just knew that YouTube was a powerful marketing platform for you to sell your stuff on, right? And so that's why I started. I also wanted to, for many, many years, express myself, right? I wanted to make videos. I wanted to create. We're all creators. And I've talked about this at various points of my journey in different videos, the power of YouTube being a platform to really give us the ability to share ourselves with the world, right? And to share our knowledge and to share our experience. And at the end of the day, as valuable as that is potentially to other people, right? Sharing experiences and sharing lessons, like I'm going to share those 10 lessons with you. As valuable as that is, I really think the bigger value is who we become in the process, right? We develop more confidence, more courage. We become more fearless. We become more sure of ourselves, right? We are expressors of joy. Abraham Hicks said that we are joy looking for a way to express. And I really believe that's true. And so I'd wanted to start a YouTube channel for probably years, right? I fired up my YouTube account in 2011, and then it took me that long to make a video, 2013, the end of 2013. And during that time frame, I was watching all of my favorite YouTubers, right? I was influenced a lot by Project Life Mastery, Amy Schmittauer, which was Amy Landino at the time, Clark Kegley. I think he was around back then. He's a big influence on me now. There were a number of YouTubers that I watched, and it looked like they were having a lot of fun. They were also making money doing what they loved, right? Their channels were in their infancy for sure, but I was just kind of inspired by what they were doing, right? I just thought it looked like a super fun thing to do. And like I say, I think we all have something to express. Now, it may not be something that you want to talk and express or something that you want to be on video and express. It could be a piece of art or sculpture or even a building if you want to be an architect or a designer. Whatever you want to do to express, YouTube can help you do that, and it can be a platform to that. So it doesn't necessarily have to be you talking in front of a camera. And to that point, when I launched the podcast, Enhancing the Human Experience, that was in 2017, on April 1st of 2017, by the way. I didn't realize it was actually April 1st because I was so consumed with this huge list of things to do to actually get that podcast off the ground. I forgot what day it was, to be honest. And as I look back, I was kind of like, this is embarrassing, right? I launched the podcast on April Fool's Day, but I was so in the mindset of getting all these things done that I just didn't know what day it was. So when I launched the podcast, one of the reasons that I chose to do a podcast is that I was super afraid to be on video. I was scared to be on video, right? Some of my close friends know how scared I was and how I would almost like hyperventilate, right? It's still like there's always a little bit of trepidation and a little anxiety whenever I turn on the camera and record, but it is nothing like what it was. And that illustrates how scared I was. I started the podcast because I knew I wanted to express. I wanted to share knowledge and wisdom that's helpful to people on their journey and learn and grow myself. And I wanted to have guests, but I was afraid of video. And so it was a natural for me to put myself into a podcast where it's only audio. And for the first number of episodes, a lot of episodes, maybe up into at least 40 or 50, maybe even up into 80, I didn't do a video feed on the podcast. I only did the audio feed because, again, I was baby stepping into this content creation game. And that's another thing that I recommend. If you're afraid to get on video, just do audio for a while, right? Get yourself comfortable with that. So that was 2017, and that was when I was first starting to kind of get serious about YouTube. But let's talk about my first video, and you can see that here. Let me jump in here. My first video, like I said, I fired up the YouTube channel in 2011 as far as gotten on and watched videos, but my first video didn't come about. Let me make sure I can get here. My first video didn't come about until 2013. And this is it right here. It's called Realize Success, Identify with Your True Nature. And what that was me promoting that book. So let's watch a little bit of it here. Hey YouTube, what's going on? It's Mark here. And I want to tell you about a free Kindle, Amazon Kindle book available at the Amazon Kindle store. It's called Boundless Joy, 101 Timeless Reminders of Our True Nature. The cover looks like this. It is totally free of charge. And really what I did is just simply... So that's that video, and I just talked about some of the quotes in there, talked about some of the ideas behind it, why I created it, etc. And it's funny because in that video, well, making that video, like I said, it was December 4th of 2013. In that video, I had just returned from an event with some friends of mine, and I was inspired. I was feeling really courageous, obviously, and I sat down on my couch, fired up my laptop at the time. It was an older laptop, used the webcam there, and recorded myself. I didn't even have a separate audio, right? I was just using audio from the computer. That's why the image, the image quality is not great, the audio is not great, but I was so tired of waiting to start this journey that I said, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to go for it. And I just did it right there. It's essentially 6 minutes long, and I'm happy with this video, right? I'm okay with this video, and I love the fact that I started, right? Some of the videos that I think were more cringy. Let me see, and it's the second video. It's this video where I went on a walk. I call it like walking in a winter wonderland, and I was just talking about stuff. Let's take a look. Hey there, Mark here. Just taking a walk in this nice winter wonderland here after a fresh snow. Gonna go out for a walk this morning. I'm not gonna watch this whole thing because, again, I just am kind of uncomfortable with it, right? It's not the worst video in the world, but it's one of my more cringy videos, and I don't know why. There's nothing really inherently weird about it, but you can watch it if you want. Again, it's my second video uploaded there, and then from there I just started making videos. Some of them are in my car. Interviewed a good friend of mine, Trentimus Briggs, talking about the second book that I wrote, The Alchemy of Despair, and just things that would come up to me, right? Talking about the transformative power of books, the golden key card, etc., etc., etc. I just started on the journey. And then, of course, where did the first episode of the podcast go? It is this one right here. So, and then I put these episodes of the podcast up. Hi there, I'm Mark Phillips, and I want to welcome you to the inaugural episode of Enhancing the Human Experience, the podcast designed to help you get the most out of life. And in this first episode, I'm just going to share. So that was published in May 1st of 2017, but the original publication, the original first podcast, if you go on the podcast players, is on April 1st, right? That's when I uploaded it and started that experience. So, those are some videos. Then, of course, it just goes on, and the majority of videos on my channel, as you can see, they're a still image paired with audio from the podcast, and then I just went from there. And I also would publish a 1-minute teaser or trailer to all these podcasts. But again, these are just episodes of the podcasts that are up on YouTube, and then of course they're also available on all the major podcast players. Now, I told you that there was one episode that really touched me, really struck a chord in me, was really meaningful to me. They're all awesome, but please don't take this the wrong way by any means. But this episode right here, which is by this gal named Tracy Larison, who I met in my Transcendental Meditation group at a group meeting we had. And I asked her, I was inspired to ask her. A lot of times all the time I'm inspired to ask my guests, hey, will you be a guest on my podcast? Like, something in me says, hey, this is a person that you need to ask, right? I'm inspired to do that. And she was one of them here. And this episode here, it's episode 37, talking about Transcendental Meditation, her experience with Transcendental Meditation. And she actually, she traveled with the Maharishi who brought the TM movement to the West back in the day. And she went to the university in Ohio. I forget the name of it at the moment. I'll put it on the screen if I remember. But she went to, I think she traveled around and went to the Cambodian region and did some group meditations to affect the field, that the coherency in the field, to level it out, even it out, help those people suffering in that area. At the time, there was horrific things going on. And so she did a lot of these amazing things, and she has a lot of deep insights, obviously, into the benefits of meditation, or specifically transcendental meditation, traveling with the Maharishi, the overall bigger arching idea behind meditation. It was just a super special episode, and she shared a lot of interesting wisdom. By the way, if you don't have time to listen to that episode all the way through, that was a period of time, let me find it here, where there are 4 clips, 1-minute clips pulled out, and there's good nuggets in there, because one of the things that I was doing early on is I was taking the episode and breaking down, pulling out a minute clip, because I know that people don't have time to listen to every episode of every podcast on the planet. It's just not feasible, right? So one of the things that I would do is I would say, okay, in this hour-long episode, what's the best nuggets, the gold nuggets of the gold nuggets, and I pull those out. So if you have 4 minutes, you could go listen to those and get a pretty good sense of who Tracy is and what she's all about. So that's the episode that is really special to me. Like I said, they're all super awesome. Let's talk about the 10 things the 10 lessons that I learned on my journey, and then we'll jump into a few other things here as we go. So lesson number 1 is, if you're thinking about starting a YouTube channel, just start, right? Don't wait, just start. This is huge, right? Our minds will constantly try to talk us out of things, saying like, you're not ready, you're not enough, who are you to be talking about this, you're not an expert, on and on and on. That's the resistance inside of us that Stephen Pressfield writes extensively about. We're creators, we came here to create, and the sooner we start creating, whatever that may be, the better off we're going to be. Because one of the things that drives me throughout all of this journey and generally in life is, when I'm on my deathbed, I want to say, I did what I came here to do. I looked fear in the face, and I made it. I made what I wanted to make. I created what I was inspired to create, right? I believe that all of us come into this world with a little spiritual suitcase handcuffed to our hand. And in that are a blueprint of the life that we intended to live before we came in here. And I want to get to the end of my life and say, I left it all here on the playing field. I did what I came to do. I was not fearful. Well, or I was fearful and I acted despite fear, right? That's always going to be the case. But I didn't hold back, I let it loose. I let it out. I expressed myself. So if you're thinking about starting a YouTube channel, just start before you're ready. That little voice inside of you is always going to try to talk you out of it, no matter what. The second lesson I learned is to sell yourself on why you're doing it, right? I'm a huge fan of this idea in every area of my life, whether it's I want to eat better, or whether I want to, grow my business, or whether I want to exercise. When you know why you want to do it, nothing will stand in your way. And of course, you got to develop strong whys. You got to get really clear on why that is. And I make lists of these things and I look at them on a continual basis. I think the reason that I stayed so consistent on YouTube when I'm, especially early on when my channel wasn't growing, or I kind of was losing a little bit of faith, and my subscriber count wasn't growing. I wasn't getting any traction. It wasn't generating the traffic to my website and my products. The thing that kept me going is I had a strong why. I knew it could work, again, because I'd seen people doing it. You got to find people that are doing what you want to do, that are further down the road, and you got to see it working. When you see it working for someone else, you know it can work for you, right? We're not that different. We're all very similar. If someone else can succeed, you can succeed, right? This is one of the things that kept me going, because I've had friends that are familiar with my YouTube journey, and even though I've got a ways to go, we're never going to get it all done, right? We're never going to arrive to the end and be like, okay, I'm done, and that's when death happens, right? But I try to convince people of the power of YouTube, and I realized that my channel being compared to some of these other channels that have hundreds of thousands or even 1 million subscribers is somewhat of a small fish. But I know that I'll get there if I just keep walking the path, because I'm convinced that it will work, and it can work, and it does work, right? I've realized not only subscribers from my YouTube channel, but I've sold books, whether they're physical books or the digital books. I've sold courses from the YouTube channel traffic. I know that being on YouTube has driven traffic to the things that I'm selling. I've seen it, right, with my own eyes. And to that point, if you're in the digital game or you want to think about getting in the digital game, here's one thing that'll tune you up and make you super committed. When you sell something, like as I have, in the middle of the night to someone around the world, in this case it was someone in Africa, right? When you sell a digital product, in this case it was my book, Just Be It, The Secret to Having What You Want in Life. You sell a digital product to someone over there in the middle of the night when you were sleeping, you'll be sold. You will be sold, and you'll never stop, and you'll always want to figure out how to do that more. And the famous question that I ask myself, it's not famous, it's famous to me. Famous question I ask myself is this: how can I be more valuable to more people, more often, more efficiently, right? That's kind of this digital online business question, and I think about that all the time. More valuable to more people, more often, more efficiently. And then you'll just constantly think how you can do this. You can look at things like eliminate things you're doing that aren't working, automate systems and processes so that you can remove yourself from the process, or also delegate stuff, right? Farm things out. These are all things that you can do. And by the way, I meant to say this at the beginning, but let me just iterate this now. I recently started consulting because I know that there's people out there. I've had friends ask me. I've helped people get up and running on YouTube or get up and running in the online space. If you need help with that or you want help with that, let me know, right? If you visit gmarkphillips.com/consulting, there's also a link in the description of the video down below, and you want me to help you get to 1,000 subscribers way faster than 8 years, and you want me to help you set up the structure, right, of your online business, right? Should you have a website? What should you do on social media? How to approach YouTube and systematize it so that you can be kind of a one-man or woman show and get yourself out there. Because let's be honest, there are so many pitfalls in the online space, and I've fallen into many of them, believe me. I've fallen into many pitfalls, and I want to help you avoid that. So if that's something you're interested in, hit me up, right? gmarkphillips.com/consulting, and we'll talk about it, right? The thing of it is with my consulting is it may only take an hour to set you up with the blueprint that you need to do what you want to do. Maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours. Bottom line is this: we don't need to have, unless you want to, a weekly session, or it doesn't have to take months, right? It can if that's something you want. If you want me to hold your hand on that journey, I'm happy to do that. But to give you the blueprint, what you need to get the job done, to realize the success that you want in YouTube, set up all these systems, be a one-person show, realize the freedom that you want, location freedom, time freedom, money freedom, right? And also, one of the most important types of freedom is creative freedom. Let me know. Check that out. I just wanted to say that. I meant to say that at the beginning, but there it is if you want help. So sell yourself. Know your why. The third big lesson that I learned is see yourself as a pro from the beginning. Decide to be a pro. Don't be a dabbler like Pressfield talks about and like the book about mastery is, right? Don't dabble. Go pro. And realize this: you can compete with anyone on YouTube, and you can compete with multi-billion-dollar corporations. And you want to know how? By creativity. Creativity levels the playing field when it comes to the online space and digital marketing. The more creative you can be, the better your chances of success are. And there's no one has the market cornered on creativity, right? No one has that all locked down. The individual content creator or product creator or digital marketer can compete with the big boys and girls if they become more creative. And I think about this all the time, right? The more creative you can be, the more successful you'll be. So go pro, decide to be a master of the trade. Number 4, detach from the outcome. Don't get too hung up on the subscribers or the comments or even the income that you're making from the traffic that's driving from your YouTube channel. And I realize that's easier said than done, but detachment is huge in the game of life. It doesn't matter what you're doing. Number 5, find someone to model, like I talked about, right? Early on, I found a lot of these influencers to model. steal like an artist, copy success, success leave clues, get people that are doing what you want to be doing and living the lifestyle that you want to live, and watch them and learn from them and copy that success and steal what they're doing. That's what I've done all along, and I continue to do that all the time. I'm still watching videos of Project Life Mastery, Stephen James. I'm still watching Clark Kegley. I'm still all over YouTube learning something from all these little content creators. I mean, if someone were to watch or were to see my YouTube history, I would look like a crazy person because I'm watching everything. I mean, I watch everything from makeup tutorials to car videos, right? Talking about like West Coast custom cars. I've watched that stuff. I mean, how to make videos, a lot of videos about how to make videos, be a better content creator. I'm travel videos. I'm all over the place. One, I enjoy YouTube, and I would rather watch that over any network television any day of the week. I don't care what it is, even over Netflix for the most part. So I'm all over YouTube, and every person I watch, I'm learning something from about how do they structure their video. What are they talking about when they first roll their video? What's the hook at the beginning, right? How are they promoting themselves in the video? How are they making it more entertaining? What kind of camera equipment do they use? I mean, I geek out on this stuff, and I think that's been one of the reasons why I kept going. I love this stuff, right? So find someone to model and copy their success. Number 6, be consistent and be patient. Obviously, it's going to take time, right? I just recently watched a video where Kevin Hart was interviewing John Travolta, and John Travolta said, back in the day, I think this was the 70s, right? When he was getting into the movies, he said there were only a handful of actors that were getting all these roles, right? I think it was him, Richard Gere, a little bit of Tom Hanks, and some other guy that I don't know who he is. I forget the name at the moment. But he said it wasn't competitive like it is now. You didn't have so many actors vying for just a few roles. He said it was easier, so to speak. And I think that's only going to be more so as we go on in life. Look at it this way. You know it. When was the best time to plant a tree? 20 years ago. When is the next best time to plant a tree? Right now. And I tell my friends this, and people who are interested in getting onto YouTube or even in the online space. I don't think this trend is going to change. I mean, we saw a huge turnaround in last year. I don't want to specifically talk about what's going down because I don't want this video to be flagged in any way, shape, or form. We saw a huge change last year that I think shifted the way a lot of people think about how they make an income and how they make an impact in the world and where they put their time, money, and energy. And so I think this is going to be here to stay. I think it's only going to get more challenging to start online businesses, to start YouTube, to start content marketing. And so the sooner you start, the sooner you get in the game, the better off you're going to be. And the other thing about this, and this is what I've seen over and over again, and definitely I'm seeing this in my own experience now, it's a curve that is like exponential, right? It may be flat for a long period of time, could be even years, but something will happen. Something will pop off. A video you make, a piece of content you do, something will happen that will exponentially grow your audience, right? And get you in front of more eyeballs. That's been the case all along. Like I said, I study YouTubers all day long. One of my favorite new persons to study, her name is Kelly Stamps. Her YouTube channel blew up last year, or maybe it was in 2019. I think it was last year though. And she's coming up on like 700,000 subscribers. And when she was making videos early on, like 30,000, 50,000, I found her at 50,000 subscribers. She was like, I wanted to give up. I was not getting anywhere. It wasn't working. But here's the thing, and I'll talk about this later on down here. Don't do it for that reason, right? Don't do it for anyone else. Do it for your own fun and enjoyment, right? That's going to be something I'm going to talk about here in a moment. So anyway, be patient and consistent. Number 7, be yourself. This is easier said than done, as a lot of these are, right? Be the most you can be. The reason for that is, one, you're going to have a lot more fun. It's going to be more natural. It's going to be a better experience for you. But also, when you are yourself, you lock up that position, right? If we're talking about marketing and branding and positioning yourself in a very crowded marketplace, right? A lot of people are getting into the online space more and more every day. So position yourself in this way. When you are being yourself, right? You lock down that space and no one else can be that, right? Because there's only one you. And so be the most you can be quirky if you're quirky, be funny if you're funny, be serious if you're serious. Whatever you are, right? and this does require some soul searching, talking about knowing yourself, whatever you are the best at, or when you're feeling the most tapped in and the most in alignment with who you are, be that person on camera. And again, I know it's challenging, right, as we put ourselves out there, but it's a huge game changer. And I've seen it over and over again. When people allow themselves to be themselves on camera, it's going to resonate with other people. So really think about that. Number 8, see yourself not necessarily as what you're doing or what you're creating, but see yourself as who you're becoming in the process, right? This is huge in the game of life, because remember, you attract what you are. You don't necessarily attract what you do, right? We're magnetic beings attracting to us the things and experience and people and opportunities that we want, right? And so when you realize that this whole game of life, whether it's business or life, the whole purpose is to become better, right? To polish off the rough edges of ourselves, to grow and learn and all these things. If you see that as the game, and it's like this infinite game, you're going to have a lot more success, because again, who you become in the process is what's going to attract the opportunities and experiences into your life, right? The better you become, the better opportunities you get, the better quality of people you get in your life, right? All these types of things. Number 9, have fun. This is huge, right? You got to have fun. If you don't enjoy what you're doing, you're not having fun with it, you're probably not going to keep going with it, right? It's just the way that it is. And to that point about keep going, my 10th and final lesson that I've learned is to keep going. Never stop, right? Again, all of these things we do online, it's a learning experience, it's a growth experience, and why would you ever stop, right? Also, not to mention the fact that you can build a business and lifestyle that will free you from the 9-to-5 game that we've been playing for so long. This is the thing about the internet, right? We can be connected anywhere in the world. I mean, I look at people all over the world living this nomad lifestyle, creating value, making an impact, being of service to other people, but also experiencing life and travel and having adventures. It's huge. It's one of the things that keeps me going, because having the ability to be valuable to people all over the world, no matter where you're at, taking calls, making content, making products, solve problems. You don't need to be tied down anymore. It's an old way of thinking. It's an old model that you need to go to this place for, 8 hours a day and do this stuff, right? So just keep going. So those are my 10 lessons that I've learned on my journey. I hope that's valuable to you. Again, if it is, give me a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. That kind of wraps up the video. Once again, I appreciate you joining me for this 1,000 subscriber party, and I hope you've learned something and had a good time. Until next time, I wish you all the best, health, wealth, and success on your journey. And by the way, like I said, if you want some insights or help with this, let me know, gmarkphillips.com/consulting. And until next time, thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.